That's right. We're live. We are live. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Idea Studio. This is our midweek live stream. I'm Dana.
I'm Jip.
What a lot we got to talk about today. So much going on. Real quick, let me jump into the chat. Right now, I see BMP Chris. What's going on, man? Thanks
Chris
for
come
joining us
before Joe.
Oh, he says hi to Joe, too. So I'm assuming Joe was there before the comments started to load here, maybe. Oh, no, Joe's here. Hey, everyone. What's
Hi,
up, brother?
Joe.
Of course Joe's here. We know that.
Oh, how are you, Joe?
Yeah, how you feeling? How's the little man? Hey, Deborah. How's it going? Thanks for coming by. Deborah was the first commenter on the WAP video. She beat everyone to it. The one that dropped last night.
Oh.
She was first. She beat everyone else to the video. Well done, Deborah. Well done. So, yeah, a lot going on, guys. Let's jump into it real quick. So, right now, I'll just, before we get anything else going on, you know that we've got the case updates for Bangkok. So, lockdown's still in its sort of limited phase restriction-wise. And, you know, so restaurants are open at varying capacities, depending indoor, outdoor. We've had a few lunches out when we've been out filming. 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes. Yeah, that's the shirt. Good day, Tama.
Good day, Tama.
Good day, Tama. Good day, Tama. So, yeah, our new cases today, 13,798, which is up a little from yesterday. We were at 12,000 yesterday. And 144 dead. So, not bad. And then it's 14,000 recovered today. So the numbers are going in the right direction. I mean, I was worried last week because last week it was like 15, 16, 17, 16, 17, 15. They were kind of like all over the place, a little bit higher. And, you know, I was a little concerned about that. But now they've kind of evened out at this lower yield. And a lot of people are projecting or speculating that the government may open up completely next month.
Yes, October.
So I think if these cases continue to drop, if they get below 10K, that's very likely.
Now, like, the number of vaccination people is like more and more.
However, if these numbers go up, I think that's not going to happen next month.
Yes. It's like it's a thing that has to change by the situation, not just like a plan that they announce like, oh, we're gonna do this for sure. It's like nothing sure.
We're very much at an inflection point for the country, I think. So we'll see what happens. I know a lot of people are hoping things open up. People are planning trips. I know Maganj was talking about he's ready to come back
Again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But it's like
2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been paying rent for 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna look like now.
Hopefully his place isn't flooded. It's gonna be dusty. So Joe says he lost his sense of smell. Little guy's just fine. That's great.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
great.
Cannot smell things.
He'll get your smell back.
Yeah. Maybe it's not help when you can eat. Like you cannot smell the food.
Yeah. Illinois' average 30 to 35K per week. Damn.
Per week.
For the state.
It's not bad.
Smaller than
per
Bangkok.
week. Oh.
Howdy, John. Oh, Cito, what's up, my man? Thank you so much, dude. Kicking it off with the super chat for us. Thank you, sir. How's West Coast life? Yeah, dude, yeah. Everyone's glad Joe and Little Man are doing good. Oh, here it is. Popped right up. Ooh, Osito, support was super.
Oh.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, we're actually...
Think about, like, if I cannot smell steak.
Yeah, only the steak. So, actually, Osito, I was talking about... I was thinking about you earlier because we were saying we've been trying to do a night market, but the rainy season has been hampering our plans. So, we tried to do the first one, like, 2 weeks ago, a Friday market, and it rained, and everything was just washed out. No one set up.
Yeah, so it's like for the temporary market here, if it's gonna rain, if they see like, okay, dark sky, like aliens is coming, like that style, they're not gonna set up the shop at all, because if they set up and before they start to sell,
Yeah.
it's rain, then no one gonna come, and they were just like lost the money for the day. So they
was
just like, okay,
blowed
not
out.
come.
Yeah.
That type.
And so every night we plan to do a night
It's
market.
like
Rain. Patty Doyle from Udon Thani province. Hey.
Huh? From
He's
Udon Thani?
Yeah, he left Samui.
How can
He's
he
up in
go that
Udon Thani.
far? That quick?
He made a whole video about just hauling ass. He got on Dreamy and he was speeding the whole way. It's Fast and Furious 10.
Really?
Yeah. Him and Don Toretto talking about family driving up.
No.
He was racing Don's car and Dreamy.
My.
He's got that new exhaust on there. He can fly. He's good. I think he figured out his bike's from the 90s.
What?
His bike is from the 90s.
90?
Yeah, 1990s.
So?
And so because it was from the, like, that's how old it was. He never knew.
Oh.
And he was finally able to get a new exhaust. Hey, Joe, thank you for the coffee, my friend. Much
you,
appreciated.
Joe.
Little morning coffee from Joe. Dana looks like he needs coffee. I always need coffee. Speaking of which, I've got coffee beans from Patty Doyle. I'm going to try. We'll put that in a video one of these days, doing a cup of coffee from Patty, some Southern Thai Robusta. Came in a nice little burlap sack. Let's see, this says, went to Mazeltown for 4 nights a week ago. Nice. Yeah, rainy season. Rainy season's been... We've been lucky. So we'll talk about our new series. There's a video dropping tomorrow that is going to be unlike anything else we put out on the channel before. It's a trailer for a new series we're
Did you
working
launch
on.
the trailer yet?
Launch tomorrow.
Tomorrow!
Yeah, so tomorrow the trailer launches, and it'll be completely different than anything you guys have seen previously. It's different. I'll let you guys see it tomorrow. It's only 2 minutes long when it launches, but we've started to film the BTS series where we'll visit every single BTS station. We've done 2, 59 more to go.
Oh my god.
Now,
I will lose weight.
so I've been editing the first one. First one's pretty much good. And actually, so the first one will drop on the 21st. So and then they'll drop hopefully weekly as we go through the series.
You need to boost rabies.
Oh yeah, rabies vaccine. So yeah, we'll get to that because right now we started at the southern point of the BTS. We've been filming in Samut Prakan. So Keha and Sailun.
ใส่ลวด
Sailua.
ใส่ลวด
Yes. So we filmed those 2. And actually, so there's a few touch and go spots over in Keha. Especially like we found some really cool abandoned stuff in Keha actually.
Like building?
Yeah, like the stadium.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think the building is scary. It's like you can film like
Yeah.
a
There could be a ghost movie filmed in there for sure.
ghost movie
For sure.
or like a murder scene, like it
Yeah.
depends what movie you want.
There may have been some murder scenes in there that weren't filmed. I mean, it definitely looks scary, but there was like 100 like dogs just hanging out in that one building. So, and Jib's definitely afraid of like the very aggressive soy dogs with reason. I mean, especially when there's an empty building like that, and then there's
Scary.
empty lot. Yeah, they're quite aggressive. But there's definitely a few interesting things that we discovered there, and in
It's just random walk.
Sailun. Yeah.
Just random walk. It's like and ask people around where to go and like just like talk a bit, and they just like, there's a place there you can walk and check. It's like, but it's so funny that people try to say, take motorcycle taxi.
Yeah, don't walk. It's 500 meters. Don't walk.
It's 1 kilometer. Take motorcycle taxi.
We did find apparently what was the world's largest reptile farm.
Is that?
Yeah, that's what it said on their
Largest?
door. It said world's
What anyone
largest
can say.
reptile farm. And it was
Yeah.
across from a restaurant that was probably one of the world's largest restaurants.
I
It was
think
massive.
that's at the restaurant, but I cannot find it on Google Map. Like,
Yeah,
where is
it's not
that?
there at all, but
Yeah.
it's definitely been closed for years.
But I guess that might be a restaurant.
And definitely, those 2 places were definitely built to attract Chinese tourists.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
yeah. So that's why I guess that they might have like food and show inside it.
P-Mock wants to know when you're going to do a hula hoop workout.
Mine. Mine.
Rabies vaccine isn't that what happened to
Raccoon.
what happened in Raccoon City? Raccoon City, what?
Resident Evil.
Oh.
We don't have beehive here.
Hey, McGonch, I was just talking about you at the beginning of the stream, man. When you plan to come back? You said next month, right? If it opens?
Oh, yeah, great.
Numbers are looking good.
Keep looking for it. It might be you can come back.
Yeah.
Did he get vaccine?
Yeah, he's fully vaxxed.
Oh, then you can come.
Yeah, hopefully if it opens next. He just doesn't want to do quarantine or sandbox.
He can enjoy 7 days in Phuket, 7 days in Samui.
Phuket's like, And Samuy's
Just
expensive.
7 days.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been talking about this series for a while, and like we just pulled the trigger on it, and so I thought we could do 2 in a day. We just can't because we're literally spending a whole day filming.
2 a day, yeah.
Yeah, I was a bit too optimistic, and I'm fighting the rainy season, but getting out and just filming, and I'm doing some voiceover now.
Like we feel like more comfortable to go out now as the number drop. If it's like 30K, we're not gonna go out.
6 months ago, we weren't going to Samut Prakan.
No, because then I was like, no. But like, lucky that when there's like not many people around us, so we just walk and say,
I think you guys will be shocked at the Keha episode as well because it's the last stop right now. Of course, there are 4 more planned for next year. So as they launch the new ones, we will update it. But right now, this is the southernmost stop, and it is completely undeveloped. Like there are things that you see there, like you're just like, wow. Like the BTS comes here and there's nothing. And actually,
nothing there.
One of the things that as I was doing the edit last night, I thought about. One side of the road is completely residential, and the other side is completely commercial. And so, like, there's abandoned commercial buildings. Like, you guys saw the walk and talk where we went to walked to the temple, not the one walking around the temple. That's all at the Keha station. All that abandoned industrial land. And it's absolutely amazing that...
Imagine if you want to buy it.
Yeah, like, you could... probably before the train opened, that land was dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Right? One of the guys, someone commented on my video that he's been living in that area of Samut Prakan for 6 years. So imagine.
So that's before train.
Yeah, 6 years ago, the last stop was Bering, I think.
Not sure, but not that far.
It might have been Bangna even. So.
Oh yeah, maybe.
So to think about 6 years ago in that part of Samut Prakan, it was probably like living in Patsumthani.
Yeah. Have to take local bus.
Yeah. And so
maybe they have like a...
And there's actually something else interesting to do there that Jib noticed, like obviously because I can't read Thai that well, that she saw right away when we got there. There was a Songtel at the last station that will take you all the way to the Gulf. So there's a Google Map image in the search. So when you see it, you'll be able to see that there's the Gulf is like right there from Keha. So the next stops will go all the way to the water. But it's interesting because those southern parts, they're what we've seen so far, the 2 we filmed, they're very dependent on the Klong and the river. And so Sai Lung, where we're at, Sai Luat, you're right at the customs house for Samut Prakan. So like that's the first shipping station in Thailand when you get up onto the Chao Phraya, and we could see the cranes. From Sai Luat, we had planned to go to a cemetery that was there, a Chinese cemetery, because we thought it would be something really interesting to see, but it wasn't super built up. And luckily, we got to go up to the roof of a building right in front of it. I'm not going to spoil it because it'll be good in the video, but we could see into the cemetery, and there were just like packs of wild dogs.
Then we don't have to walk there.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I think we're going to skip that cemetery.
Yeah. I want to keep my legs,
So John says, speaking of reptiles, when is Auntie going to catch the monitor for me? The one that was outside. Oh, see, this is a great exercise.
I can grab cockroach, but not like the soft and like a...
Nothing soft about that lizard. I'll tell you that.
And like, like I don't know what you call it, like a shining slip, like a wet skin, like I can't. But thing with like hair, like rat, okay, I can grab. Or cockroach because it's hard shell, okay. But I cannot grab like
Fleshy.
the frog.
See, I can grab a lizard. It doesn't bother me.
My.
Rats
Cannot.
annoy me.
Turtle, okay.
So this is actually a good point
okay.
from Osito. It is good exercise. We've been averaging about 12 kilometers on these outings. And it's funny because Chris commented on last night's video that we both sound hot and out of breath, and yeah, we were
ใช่ค่ะ
exhausted.
so hot and I wear double mask
And that's the day I got the sunburn. And we had finished walking for that day. So yeah, we had walked about 12 kilometers that day. It's been fun. Actually, I've been planning a that's funny. Oh, is there something else?
that's John
Oh, okay. All right. So I've been planning something else as well, where I'm going to walk 50 kilometers in one day through Bangkok, and it just the curfew has really prevented that, because I need more time to do it with the stops that are planned than the curfew will allow. One of my buddies has already said he's gonna help me film it. He's gonna kind of be go from spot to spot and like meet me at each location as I walk through. So he'll be waiting for long stretches of time, drinking a lot of coffee that day. But it'll make for an interesting video in showing the sort of nuance and texture of Bangkok as a city and how it's developed. My plan is to start at Dam Mueang and walk to Bangkok, and then but take this route like up through Pachani Wat, where the reservoir is for the city. Down to Chatuchat to show the market and what that's like, that big public space. If I can, the Rama 5 equestrian tower. Yeah? No, not raining. The Rama 5 equestrian park. Then Victory Monument, which is a transport hub in the city. And then from there down to Lumpini, Green Mile, Benjikiti. Show that with the forest and show the park infrastructure that's building out, and then from there Sukhumvit and like that kind of last developed area, like that major artery of Bangkok. So like that's a project I've had planned for a while before lockdown, and I was prepping for it
before curfew.
Yeah, when I was doing the 10,000 steps a day and prepping for this, and then curfew hit, and it just like I can't do it. Because my timing on it, as I look at it, and one of my buddies who does 50K walks regularly, but like nonstop, they take him literally without stopping to film at locations and do dialogue. He goes almost straight until curfew. Sometimes he gets home like after curfew at his place at Tonglo. He just walks into his apartment and like collapses. But that's something that will happen. I think my buddy's heading back to the States, so when he's back, then we'll definitely attack that, because I think curfew will be gone. Hope, and I'll have like a couple of my other YouTube buddies will be back who I think I've talked to about helping me out with it and like being at certain locations so we can meet up and talk. So I think that'll be interesting. Hey, Hike, what's going on, brother? How's things in Bama? Reptile Park across the road from the restaurant. Suspect. Yeah. No,
so maybe it's served in a restaurant.
I don't disagree.
Here we eat crocodile.
So yeah, it's a crocodile farm, and the restaurant is across the street. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if crocodile was on the menu.
Yeah.
It's the circle of life. A chicken was at the restaurant for the restaurant. Yeah, I think because it was like I'm really confident that this restaurant, when you guys see it on video, it's massive. It looks like it could be like a medium-sized stadium in the U.S. Like the type of place I used to go watch wrestling shows, like big wrestling shows as a kid, not the small ones. And it was so huge, but it has the Great Wall of China painted across the front with like imagery from like Chinese mythology.
Monkey King?
Yeah, so. Yeah, mixed with Thai
and other it's like a Chinese character that I know.
Yeah, and the parking for the bus to pull up.
Yes.
So I mean, you kind of know what it is.
Yes.
And I mean that's the way that That's the way that Chinese tour here. They come in buses
like
and they just flood areas.
I think it was like a Chinese, like a on
Area.
the sign
Yeah, there was.
around, right?
So actually, babe, do you know the term clown car in America?
What's that?
It's like at the circus, clowns will drive up in this little car and like 50 clowns will get out of a tiny car.
Huh.
There's like 50 clowns in a songtel and it'll pull up and they'll just all
Okay.
flood out. So for me, Chinese tour buses seem like clown cars because I've always wondered how can all these people fit on this one bus? There can't be that many seats.
Oh no, like one bus can be like 30 or more.
Like I've been to Erewhon Shrine when one of the buses pulls up and they open the doors and it seems like 200 people come out of one bus.
No. They just come out quick.
that's
That
what
that
it
you feel
seems
that
like.
there are so many, but it's the same thing. You remember I went? No, that's before I date you. I went to Korea with mom.
I don't know. Yeah, that was right before we met.
Really?
Yeah, so you
Is
had
that-
told me about that when we met about your trip with
Okay,
your mom.
so that's before.
Yeah.
So like university that mom know,
Yeah.
like she speak there sometime about like hospital work. So like they set up a trip to Korea. So as a big group, it's cheap. But then like available seat that like someone don't want to go. So available. Then the teacher from university asks mom if she want to join.
Oh, nice.
So how many seat available? Then like mom asked me and her staff if we would like to go. Then okay, we go. That's the two buses. 60 passenger.
Okay.
So
But
that's a
I'll just say
lot.
I feel
Or more
like
than 60.
I feel like
Yeah, but
when
because they
unload-
walk fast. Like you feel like oh.
and they'll push past you if you're stuck in the doorway. They'll like. "Ugh."
Yeah. Korea also they don't like say excuse me, can you move? No, they just like
Jib knows this story, but I actually got into a fist fight with a Chinese tourist at Damyong Airport, and I was waiting. So if you guys have ever flown Air Asia, you know that they try to employ as few people as possible. So the quickest way to get your entry is to like do the self-check kiosk, and they'll have lines of like 30 people at the self-check kiosk. And I'm waiting to get my ticket at self-check, and I'm in line, queued up like everyone else. And the girl in front of me is doing like 30 passports because that's what they do. And you know, every one of them has like some type of agent doing like 30 passports at a time, trying to get tickets, and they move on. And so then I go up, and as I go up, this Chinese guy just walks in front of me and tries to get to the machine. And I put my arm out and stop him, like, hey, no, you gotta wait in line like everyone else. And he starts talking in Chinese, going off at the mouth. And it gets to the point where I push him away, and I take my passport and I put it in to scan it. And he literally pushes me as hard as he can, and nothing happens. Like, he's like pushing me and pushing me and pushing me, trying to get me to move. I'm just standing there, and I swat him by the head and push him away. And just like, fuck off, guy. And he comes back and he does it again, and then he takes a swing at me. And I didn't even really like see him trying to punch me, but it was such a bad punch that he missed completely without me trying to like dodge it. Like I wasn't like trying to be Anderson Silva in the Matrix and like just let him miss me. No, he swung, I didn't move, and he missed me. But so
maybe he drunk.
So I don't want to say I punched him, but I slightly touched him, and he passed out and fell behind the machine. Just like, And so I get my ticket out, and the girl they had like an intern working at the kiosk that day, like a little Thai girl intern.
Like wear like vest,
yeah, wears
right?
the vest that says intern.
Yeah.
Her face was like horrified. She's like, but she spoke English, and she was like, sir, it's okay. I saw what happened. You can go. And I just left, and nothing else, like security never came to get me, nothing. And the girl was just like, it's okay. I saw what happened. And like all the Chinese people are yelling in line, and this guy's like behind the kiosk now. And so I just took off. But, you know, it's like sometimes they get really aggressive. And
So this is something about Chinese, like they announce a policy of like a social score.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call in English, but it's like some Thai page will translate that to Thai, so I don't know what they call in English. But it's like they will give you like a score when you do good in public. when you do bad, they will minus your score also. And I believe at some point, if you too much minus, you cannot go out country. So they don't let you go out and mess up other country, and people will blame, oh, because you're Chinese, you know. I think that's a good idea, because like they have to like, even like long before, when we see like some behavior, it's like, wow, why they did that. So they have a course like tell you what to do when you go outside, because of course culture different, right? We different. It's nothing wrong about different, but you have to have some point that like kind of like international manner that you know this must do in other country. So I think they try to change, like to make that people behave
I have
international.
countless stories of China, because I used to fly out of Dam Young all the time. And when you're in Malaysia, certain areas in Malaysia are packed with Chinese tourists as well, like Penang.
So it's again, babe, it's like here, they're also like nice Thai and not nice
Yeah,
Thai.
no, for sure. In America, too, there are a lot of assholes. Don't get me wrong. It's not necessarily a Chinese thing. It's just concentrated.
So think about like, we fly economy, right? So
Yeah.
we would see people who not wealthy.
Yeah.
If you fly
Yeah,
business class, you will see classy Chinese, of course,
Yeah,
right?
you're
They
definitely
might
not
speak
seeing
British
them on
accent.
You're not seeing them on Air Asia. That's for sure.
right? So it's like, it depends where you go.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember one time I was in Dam Young and I saw a Chinese auntie beat up a Chinese uncle while they were
They beat up each other?
while they were fighting in line of who was first to get on their flight.
For what? For luck or what?
I don't know. John says he saw some videos of Pattaya in the rain. Yeah, you know what? The rain is sort of intensified in Pattaya, John.
Pattaya, if it's rain, it's always flood. Oh,
Yeah.
babe, can you do this?
Yeah, I have Photoshop.
No, for really.
So I have. Let me see. I'll show people. Let me see it. Open it up. Jim sent me. Can
No,
you do
it's
this?
John Poe.
Oh yeah, I can do that in. I can do that in Final Cut.
ไม่ใช่อ่ะ
So this is the thing about Pattaya, because the way it's designed, John. When it rains heavy there, everything floods to the ocean and to the Gulf as well. So it looks, it is intense, but it looks amplified because of the city design and the way everything's made to run out to the Gulf, which is also coincidentally why you shouldn't go in the water in Pattaya. You wish you
From Joe.
Joe. But yeah, there's there are certain things in there. That's just too funny. I'm sorry, I can't stop. There are.
Deep breath.
Too funny. So, there are. What was I? Oh yeah, the way Pattaya is designed from a rain perspective, everything runs to the Gulf. So when it rains there, everything amplifies and ends up like shooting out into the Gulf, and those first couple blocks near the Gulf get sort of flooded. And it's very easy to see there was some poor design considerations that went into the scale of the city. But one of the things that I would, like I said, I highly recommend, don't go in the water in Pattaya. I know myself and numerous people who have gotten a rash from swimming there. So especially during rainy season, especially. But I bet you now, like the past, like before this rainy season, the beaches were probably the nicest they've ever been in Pattaya. I can't walk across a parking lot without my knee going out. Yeah, right. Sometimes my knees, like it doesn't. I definitely get some pain sometimes, but you just got to deal with it. We're talking about like both having bad knees.
Oh.
Like when we're talking walking 10,000 a day. Yeah, Victory Monument does have some incredible street food nearby. There's also a park near Victory Monument that
For fun.
I want to visit, because it's one of those parks not a lot of people know about, but it's really small. But I think it's like a good show of sort of creative use of green space. The park next to Victory,
Where?
behind, it's like 3 blocks back from Victory. Remember we looked at a condo that was right next to that park?
Huh?
There's a little park at Victory Monument.
Ah, but it's like I think walk to Dindang.
Oh yeah, in
Side,
that direction.
ใช่ไหม?
Yeah.
It's like
It's
on the street.
thin but long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went there before.
But yeah, it's a good use of
And you can
green
walk-
space by the city.
Go out at the other side, the other road.
Hike wants to know what curfew you give me. Silence. Be home before the train, right?
Yeah, I just come home before 9. I don't want to have problem with police.
Yeah, I would definitely not be able to like sneak around.
You know, because of his size and he's like different here. So like people will remember him.
I got my second vaccination shot last week. Last week?
เหรอ?
Yeah, last week. And
ใช่ไหมอะ?
so the nurse, when she was looking at my arm, I had like this 50-year-old nurse.
Wednesday last
And
week.
she's looking at my arm. And she's like poking at it. She's like, oh, so big. Easy. To the point where she was so impressed with my deltoid that she went to get her other nurse friend to show her my deltoid, how big it was. And so we were talking to Jib's mom over the weekend about it because her mom was a nurse. And her mom's like, oh, yeah, because for Thai people, if they're that big, they're just fat. You're fat and you have muscle. I guess, that's true. Someone trying to cover up for the fact that he went Jackie Chan on you.
Huh?
Yeah, you know, man, it's just like, he's talking about the Chinese tourists. Yeah, like, they just get aggressive, man. It's weird. It's a weird thing. And like,
It's weird that he tried to
yeah.
fight with the bigger guy, you know? If he's not Jet Li, why he tried that?
And I was probably the biggest dude in the airport at the time. And like not the right person to pick. And this guy was like probably my age, maybe a little younger. I was like in my mid-30s at the time. And, you know, he was tiny. He was smaller than Jib. And he just like height-wise, like build, he obviously built more like a dude. But, like, it was an unfair matching, if you will. My hope is that time off gave Chinese tourists some reflection on how they'd be polite guests in another country, but secretly hope they never return to Thailand. Yeah. Well, you know, from an economic perspective, a lot of people talk about like, oh, the Chinese tourism, it helps the economy, but there's been actually a few studies like done by universities here in the tourism authority that show they actually don't help the local economy that much. That there's a bunch of Chinese run or own businesses that cater to them, and that's it. Like they don't eat street food. They don't go out.
To really local place. They just like go as a tour, assign them to go. So it's just like
and there's places that only cater to Chinese people, and you know they built their business around that, and they you know it is what it is. But yeah, if they don't return, I wouldn't mind. I definitely would not mind. Though the groups of them, that is.
If they come like by themselves, I think they're nice. Like just walk together, like as a couple or friends. They're kind of like other tourists, you know.
Yeah.
Like European, American, they just come as like a small group, like just friends. But when they come as a tour, sometimes it's like too much.
Yeah, like I've met tourists from China who are here on their own and like totally normal people.
Yeah.
And like cool. Like I'm glad you're here. And like they're eating at local places. They do other types of stuff. The ones who come in tours though, it's just like
It's a headache.
Yeah. It's like they open up the bus from the zoo and like animals are running out.
Did I tell you about a story in Phuket when I went with my friend?
No.
So like you know my dentist friend, she's live in Phuket, right?
Sure.
So one time the other two with me.
The same group of friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Picky and
no, different. This is high school. So we would sit the dentist. And like the day that we gonna come back to Bangkok, she's like, okay, let's go get the kind of stuff at like not it's like a kind of souvenir, but it's like sell food and other stuff that you bring it back. So it's like, okay, go there. We have to buy cashew nuts and like the black jelly is famous there. It's like, okay, when we there, no one, fine. I'm thinking about, I'm tasting like, okay, which cashew nuts good because it's like a kind of flavor powder on it.
Yeah.
Many flavor. So I'm trying.
Salted
taster.
plum, always salted plum.
It's like when I'm thinking and like 2 seconds later, it's like all the hands go past me and grab like the taster. It's like, what? It's like one in my hands. Like, what is that? I was like, look at her. What happened? And it's like it's a tour bus. So bad. It's like when I, like when we just there, no one, just like, okay, the staff and the cashier, right? And when the tour comes, it's like 50 people there, and like they grab stuff from the shelf. It's like, what will left for me to buy, to give to mom? It's like, oh my God, almost nothing left. Really.
Did you
almost
get the flavor
nothing
you
left.
wanted?
I can't remember, but at least I get something. But not a lot like them. There's like one person will carry like 2 baskets. So for me, just like half basket is enough because it's like, okay. Just for mom and a friend at work, that type of thing. No need to bring a lot because it's, okay, these things still can find in like other place in Bangkok, but maybe not this brand.
Oh, this is, if you guys YouTube this, you'll be YouTube Chinese tourist buffet, Thailand, and a video will come up of Chinese people absolutely losing their shit at a buffet at King Power, and like they just brought out, I remember, was it shrimp or crab? And they put the plate out, and literally there's a person taking a plate like a shovel and digging the shrimp out of the plate, and apparently they didn't even eat the food because one of the waitresses posted a video from the buffet. They just left like uneaten shrimp all over the tables and stuff, like plates of full food. But they were absolutely going bananas when the new food came out, like just trying to get it first, and just like scooping it with plates. It was absolutely wild. Hike says, I've heard about China culture is changing, becoming more aggressive, wolf diplomacy, they call it. I don't
more aggressive.
Like this, like I don't know. I've never read about that. Maybe I'll have to check it out. But I know the times I've been to China, my experiences are completely different than experiencing tour groups coming through Thailand. So when I've been to China, it's been amazing. I've had extended trips in Kunming and Guangzhou, and it's been fantastic experiences for me. Absolutely. Even when I was in Guangzhou, I had like a government babysitter with me because I was there for a government event. I was a speaker at the Innovation Festival. But they were like super chill. It's not like he was with me the whole time. I wanted to leave the one of the parties early that we were at, and like one of the receptions, and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to take off."
Fun.
Oh, really? Let me see.
Chai.
I should way down here.
Oh.
Hey, Fawn. Sucha Kujanarawa.
Sochada.
Oh, such a long name. This is Jib's.
No, this is her last name. This is her husband's last name.
Oh, okay. This is Jib's good friend from the Royal Academy. So, hey, Fawn, what's up?
Badass auntie.
Yeah, badass Fawn. Her and her husband have a monster truck. They drive around the city, all lifted up. It's really cool. One of the coolest trucks I've seen in Bangkok. But I was saying, like, when I've been to China, man, it's been a fantastic experience. Like I said, I wanted to leave the reception early with a couple of the guys from the conference, and my handler was just like, "Yeah, sure, I'll see you back at the hotel." And like we left, he's like, "Just if you get lost, here's my number." Yeah. Did Joe send you this?
John.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's these guys, and they didn't eat the food. They're just stacking it up on plates. It was crazy. Wolf Warrior Diplomacy. I'll check it out. Thanks, Hike. Air Asia sounds like Spirit Airlines here in the U.S. Air Asia's hit or miss, man. It's not. I've flown it because AirAsia, the same group that owns AirAsia owned an MMA organization I worked for a couple of years. Yeah, Myanmar, actually, Malaysian Invasion. So they would fly me. I would fly to Malaysia every week to ref fights for the tryout period, and then every month after that. And I always flew AirAsia, and it's hit or miss. I mean, sometimes it's a great flight, sometimes it's not. But I mean, it's inexpensive. It literally costs like $50 to fly internationally on them. So, and if you get one of the older jets, the seats are pretty comfortable. There was one time I went to, they had like bus seats, like hard plastic bus seats. That was the worst. And you can spend $10 and upgrade to the exit row, which is nice. Hey, who's this sexy guy? Who's this? What's up, Mikes? Back in the BKK?
Not in Pattaya เหรอ
No, he got back. He's gonna do government stuff with the transmitter from his new radio station.
Oh.
What was that photo? Oh, the photo we just you talking about the shrimp? I don't know how far back we are here. I think we're a ways back.
Oh.
Yeah, got shot in. Goes out on me. Just took time. What would you get shot in it with? What gauge? 9mm?
I got shot.
45?
Did it get gunshot or
Has
the
to be
vaccine shot?
No, he's talking about gunshot.
Huh.
A rash from swimming in Pattaya. I got one of those.
Ooh.
11 times in a row on soy 6.
No.
So,
What is that? Should I tell Gracie about that?
no, this is before we met Gracie. He got those rashes. Yeah, probably
Does Gracie know about
probably
this?
too close to the wedding to be joking about that.
Does she know about this?
Probably. Does Mike seem like the type of guy who keeps secrets? No.
Maybe he just forget to talk about this story.
Probably not. We're gonna stop the live stream for a selfie. Oh, that's what he was talking about. What picture is that?
Oh yeah.
Can you get a rash from other than swimming in the Gulf? Oh yeah, you can get all types of rashes in Pattaya. All types of bumpy stuff going on after.
If you want to go like to swim in the open water, I would say Phuket, Hua Hin, Pranbury, that type, or Krabi, Phang The Pattaya is not. Sometimes we have problem of algae bloom.
Yeah, actually, yeah, the
It's
algae
like
blooms,
green and like smell.
especially during rainy season when everything's flushing into the ocean.
So it's change like chemical balance in the sea. So like
Now it's raining. So actually, last time we were in Phuket for our friend Bev's birthday.
beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Bev's a great friend of ours. Not even good friend, great friend. We went out on a boat trip, and we ended up stopping on this one little island in the Andaman. And like, it's an archipelago, so there's all these little islands. We pull up to a private beach, and like literally we're just out there swimming in the Andaman, like enjoying the water, like off this private island, no one else around, until a boat full of Russians pulls up, and the girls get out in bikinis to take photos. And Bev's like, all right, let's go. And so as a joke, I got out of the water, and like it was funny because it's 2 Russian guys. I think it was 3 girls.
I don't know, can't remember.
Yeah,
but it's small group, not like
small group, but
tour
still, I
group.
mean, like we're on like a beach that's maybe 30 meters long, and it's just us. And then they kind of
Yeah.
ruined the ambiance when they came rushing in on their boat. But I remember the girls got out right away, like just in bikinis, and the guys are taking photos with their phone. So I got out, and we're walking behind the girls, and I like just all covered in water. I like, just rubbing myself down behind them while they're taking photos. Everyone's like, but yeah, that's a great place to swim. Just like out in Pattaya, not out in Pattaya, out in Phuket, fantastic. Or I think if you're like in the islands, like I remember Mike posted photos from Koh Phangan.
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 Phangan, got Phangan.
And the water there is amazing.
Yeah. Like
But I mean, you're literally
place like that, fine.
You're in the middle of the Gulf, right? So, but it was gorgeous, absolutely
And of
gorgeous.
course, no factory there.
Yeah. So and beautiful, and everything that runs off an island.
Even I went to Sriracha. It's a trip with teacher. I took class. It's about ocean. And before we finish the class, he's set up the trip 1 day trip.
Yep.
We went there and he took us to it's Chonburi but not near Pattaya. It's Sriracha district.
Yeah.
Sriracha as a source.
Yeah.
So July has a boat from I think my faculty a science faculty has a boat specific for this department, just take students out and the water is very nice. And I see uni, what you call it? It's
sea urchin.
It's a spike, the black.
Yeah, sea urchin.
We call hoi men. Japanese call uni.
Yeah.
That one, there's a lot of them there.
Yeah.
It's wow, so nice.
Well, guys, it's crazy rain.
Kind of snorkeling and get sunburned a little bit.
So, yeah, when you're a big dude in Asia, you stick out. That's for sure.
What stick out?
He's talking about when he was in Tokyo. His daughter said he was like Hagrid walking through Hogwarts.
Oh yes, of course. But I think now Japanese is kind of taller because of their nutrition change.
Guys, penicillin is over the counter everywhere in Asia. You don't need I know what you mean, John, but as a side note, you don't need a prescription for antibiotics.
No, here
So
you can get it.
I always travel with a Z-Pack and some amoxicillin because I was actually before I had the procedures on my ears last year. I was prone to ear infections quite frequently. Now
Every month.
Yeah, literally, it got so bad I had it monthly, and I just got lucky because the first ENT I saw, she just treated me. And then when I went back to the hospital and saw another ENT specialist, he recognized the frequency with which I was getting ear infections was problematic. And he actually began a course of treatment to make sure my ears were completely cleared out and everything was ready to grow back. And there was a lot of abnormal cells is the way he described it, but it actually fixed me up quite well, and I'm quite happy now. I haven't had an ear infection since.
Because you stopped.
Yeah, I also have to stop using Q-tips. So
yes,
I still use my little scraper, but just to clean the outside of my ears because I get a lot of dry, flaked off gunk. But yeah, my ears are overactive the way they produce sebum, so that was part of the issue, and it would get impacted and cause infections, and so yeah, it was just. But yeah, so I used to travel with antibiotics for that reason. You can buy them over the counter here.
but you can't get aspirin, baby aspirin.
I can't buy baby aspirin. I have to get that imported.
Yeah.
But you can buy amoxicillin. I can buy testosterone over the counter.
So if you want to come here, you might check the list of the medicine that you can get it at a counter.
You can buy Viagra over the counter, Cialis over the counter, testosterone, antibiotics. I mean everything. But what you can't get is
baby aspirin.
You can't get baby aspirin. You can't get corticosteroid cream or corticosteroids at all, and no opiate. They don't sell. Can you get opiates from the hospital, if you have surgery, or no?
Not sure. I never have pain.
Oh no, you can
I have to get it.
Mike got it for his back. They gave
Ooh.
him they gave him opiates, and he was like, "You have anything else?"
Okay, so that means maybe only hospital use because it's strong.
But yeah, it's usually when they give me painkillers, it's that Tylenol derivative. It's okay. It does the trick. This is a good question. How's your feeling on the economy there? Holding steady or near collapse? I don't think it's near collapse.
I think it's depend on business.
Yeah, I think there are some sectors that are obviously hurting more than others.
Yeah.
Tourism.
Yeah.
I think a lot of small tourist companies have
It's
already gone under. Yeah.
Bar.
Yeah.
Nightclub.
Bars, nightclubs. But the thing with bars, nightclubs, and restaurants, a lot of those businesses have a lot of turnover anyway. So, or a lot of they go out of business frequently anyway.
Oh,
So,
okay.
to me, Like there's a lot of tools available for business for restaurants in particular now that have helped them stay open, like Grab Food, Uber
Robin
Eats, things
Hood.
like Robinhood, things like that. Robinhood especially, like if
Yeah.
I mean that's been
They're not charged.
they're not
restaurant.
charging restaurants a percentage. 'Cause it's SCB, they can afford to.
It's a big bank. Yeah.
And it's probably the best service of all three. Where I would argue food. You guys know I hate Food Panda. I think they're the worst, but. I think the real thing is that they've helped restaurants to really it's helped their business model obviously as a platform, but they've been a tool for restaurants to stay afloat this time.
So for a Robinhood, even you don't have a shop, I can sell something here. If I can cook like
Oh, that's why
brownie.
you were saying like the person behind us.
Yes, because I check on the list, like they show the restaurant near you.
Yeah.
Like, so you pay less to get delivery, right?
Yeah.
That's a place like 200 meters from here.
Yeah.
Sell ขนมจีน น้ำยาปู. It's like, where's that? And I think that might be the house behind us.
The one
It's
who's
like,
always smashing chili paste.
yes, to make the paste and cook in the coconut milk,
Yeah.
I think. So like now, as I like to eat salmon, you guys may know that. So I joined the group. It's like a kind of whoever love to eat salmon sashimi, not a cooked salmon, like Japanese style salmon. So like some lost their job, but they like to eat it. So they like try to like, okay, learn how to cut it
Yeah.
and like pack it nice. They sell even in a condo room, their condo. They just order the whole fish and they cut it. Like nice cut
Well,
and pack and
it's a certain
sell.
grade of salmon to cut for sashimi.
Yes, yes.
And I know that if you go to Donkey, they sell salmon by like sashimi grade, not sashimi grade.
Yes, yes.
And so Don Donkey. I think someone said it's similar to a place called Don Quixote. Here it's called Don Donkey. And the Japanese, like you see like
Japanese.
wagyu beef in there. It's insane. It's like, oh, there's pink in this chunk of fat, like type of beef. But they sell salmon and they'll sell like sushi grade and non-sushi grade, and or sashimi grade, non-sashimi grade. And so like you know like when you look at the sashimi grade inside Don Donkey, I look at that, I'm like, this looks better than some of the restaurants we've been to.
So like for this group,
Yeah.
it's like when people order from some shop, it's like this one look not right. So they post kind of alert
Yeah.
for people to know like beware if you want to order from this restaurant.
And Jim has got some
That
damn
type.
good deals on salmon since since that. Like sometimes they'll come up like, how much salmon do you get? She's like, oh, like 2 kilos.
Oh,
Yeah. For her and Jam. But yeah, so the economy as a whole, I think is in a position that it can rebound easily. But there are certain sectors like F&B obviously has been hit really hard. Tourism has been hit really hard. And I think those sectors, all the big companies, Hilton, all of those, they'll do fine. It's the smaller tourism, like the smaller hotels or people who ran tourist-focused attractions. Like you'll see when we release the Keha video, the places like the Reptile Farm that clearly targeted Chinese tourists, that restaurant that's huge, they've been closed for years because of this. Like they knew,
maybe close before that. I'm not sure.
but I mean they obviously knew Chinese tourists weren't coming for a while, so
Yeah.
they did what they did and shut down. And I just clicked something. There we go. So used to hearing about U.S. tourists being assholes. Nice to hear not be the focus. Yeah, I remember that in like the 80s and 90s, hearing that.
Where?
The ugly Americans. Like we would go overseas and be complete douchebags. And I'm sure like to
Because
an extent,
of six-pack?
a lot. Well, in Thailand that hasn't changed, but just like the way we act. And like I know people who have been to Europe and be like, they don't even speak English, and it's kind of funny. And actually, I hear people say that here. Like, why don't they speak more English in Thailand?
Because here's Thailand, we have our own language.
Because English isn't their language. But in Bangkok, you'd be surprised. Even like motorcycle wins, like speak enough English to help you out or to rip you off. Depends on their personality, but it goes both ways. And like for me, I live here. Like that's why I'm working on my Thai, because I should. It will make my experience better. What is that? Oh, is that whose hip is that? That's from John.
Oh.
Oh, it's from Kuwait. I thought you got shot as a cop. Oh yeah, your hip's a mess, huh? Jesus Christ, John. Oh, guys, here's the buffet link. Thank you, John. This is the link to the buffet video if you want to see Chinese people going crazy. Girls going wild. Chinese people going with that cat. Yeah, that must be from Joe, right? Just one more photo.
John from Joe ค่ะ นี่ cat เนี่ย
I don't have any photos of their truck, John, but they Fawn and her husband have a dope truck. I think, was it in a Isuzu? Ben? In a Isuzu body? It's not like a legit.
So she say it's an old truck.
Yeah, but I
and
think
they modify it as like difficult to fix.
So I don't think it was a. It's not like a legit monster truck, as in like 6 feet off the ground, but like literally it's 5 feet off the ground, 4 feet to 5 feet off the ground, John. And huge tires. When they drove here, I was actually surprised they fit down our soy.
Oh, I was like can drive if no one park outside the house.
Yeah, but like with the way people park, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I was shocked. It's so big, but it's such because it's an older. I think it's in a Isuzu body or a Isuzu engine, a Isuzu body, and they lifted it. Huge tires on it. Literally, for me to get up into it, I would have to grab the roll bar and then pull myself up onto the tire. I'd have to step
And flip the car.
I'd have to step on the rim and then step on the tire and then jump
And then you
up.
have to and you flip the car.
No, I won't flip
When
it.
you like
Yeah, tell Fawn to send you a photo so we can hold it up.
You know, like one day her husband drove that car to pick her from school.
Oh,
And you
really?
see how our skirt
At the
make
palace?
Yeah.
How'd she get in?
That's the question. Like how can she get in?
Yeah, so they have. Oh god, I feel that's like the worst skirt.
But she's
for
shorter
that.
than me.
But like it's not quite a pencil skirt; it's pleated. But it would almost be like an oversized pencil skirt that's pleated, Jib's school skirt. So yeah, that definitely must have been. And they have to wear heels too. Have to.
Yeah.
Also, Greg says the rash is free. The story costs extra. Met a super cool guy at NBTC yesterday. Young guy, engineer from Mexico. My new best friend, the government. Pretty big deal radio. He's getting his receiver checked out at NBTC.
What is that?
Marmite or Vegemite, which is better? That's a good question. Joe, so this is the thing, like now that I've got all the Vegemite from Australia, I'm really liking, one, the thickness and consistency of it, but two, just like I prefer that flavor over the Marmite flavor now, because I tried some Marmite that I still have the other day, and I really think I'm Team Vegemite all the way. Osito, I no longer get air infections after I stopped surfing for 10 years. A lot of sewage runoff in San Diego from TJ and other pollution from other stuff. Yeah. Like for me, like I've gotten them like really bad since I was a kid, and it's funny because growing up I was always told by my parents, you know, clean your ears with Q-tip every day so you don't get air
Not
infections.
every day.
And apparently that's what's been causing my air infections for 40
I just
years.
do that after I wash my hair.
So yeah, now I don't even use the Q-tips. I just use a towel to clean the outside of my ear so that nothing protrudes too far. And then I sterilize I have a little metal scraper, and I'll sterilize that and clean out the outside of my ear with it. All right, here we go. Oh, so here, guys, this is Fawn's truck. Really bad. Like for Bangkok, you don't see trucks like this. And like usually you'll see like trucks like this, but in like Pathum Thani, and they're not even as cool as this. This is like a real off-road truck.
Because they like to go off-road.
Most people just buy like a Helix and like put bigger tires on it and throw a fake snorkel. But this truck is the real deal. Cialis, testosterone, antibiotics. Sounds like a live my ass off late night
Man.
smoothie and power bar for Pattaya. Working on permits now.
They drive like that.
Yeah, I think they do boondocking and stuff, guys. So like that's why Their truck is like so badass, and they have a piece of land out in the middle of nowhere.
No, it's not that bad. It's still like the main road has it.
John says, but you're married to the Food Panda Queen.
No.
That photo he said, if you love Tiger King, if you like Tiger King, you'll love Food Panda Queen. Cat sushi. The Craig. Love your content. I left February 2021, heading back to relocate. Hey, the Craig 777. Thank you very much, man. So you left here in February.
Where?
Heading back. I guess you left here, Bangkok.
Oh.
February, heading back, hopefully to relocate. Nice.
Okay.
Do it, man. Do it. Bangkok, greatest city in the world. I love the Raptor Rangers. They have their own over there, not available here. You know, do they still sell the Ranger in the U.S., the Ranger pickup? I remember I wanted to buy one, and this is like early 2000s, and I don't think they had new Rangers at the time. And it was like they had something bigger but smaller than the F-150. It wasn't the Ranger. This is a long time ago when I was looking to get a pickup truck back in the day. Actually, I was telling Jib the little Songtels that have the motorcycle engine in them, the little blue, not the big red. Those are actually pickup trucks that they modify to be Songtels. So I was like, oh, we should get one of these to drive around in and like load up. And she was like, no, just stop it.
How can you fit in the driver's seat?
That's a good question. I would have to see if I could actually fit in the driver's seat.
You complain when I was like, okay, you can sit in the front, or you should to sit the last seat at the back, and you have problem to sit in the front.
Rangers were just reintroduced a couple of years. Oh, okay, they were reintroduced. Yeah, there are Ford Rangers. Yeah, like I remember, like in the early 2000s, I think there were no Ford Rangers for some reason, no new ones, and it was like there was something else that was because the Ranger used to be like a really tiny pickup with a 4-cylinder, but it was great for the city because you could load like enough stuff in it to like move around and like pick up junk or whatever. But then like it wasn't as massive as like a F-150. My old work truck when I was in telecom was a 450 dually, upfitted with a bucket and a shed. Had a big old steel bumper and stuff. It's cool. Man, the Ford Ranger is a cool pickup. Here, like the Hilux is king. Actually, the other day there was one of the guys who I used the editor. Oh yeah, that's a real monster truck. Oh, that's the Ford Ranger. That's an ugly truck. I don't know. Modern trucks don't have like the same je ne sais quoi, if you will, as like the 80s and 90s trucks. But not the Raptor Ranger in the U.S. They do have a specific full-size truck called the Ford Raptor. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a minute. Oh, I was saying about the Hilux. One of my buddies, Todd, who was the editor-in-chief at both Coconuts and Cowsalt when I wrote for Cowsalt. When I wrote for both of those, he was in Afghanistan in 2001 during the invasion, and he was talking about like riding around with guys in their Toyota Hiluxes, and the guy jokingly said, "Oh, Toyota good for jihad." And I was like, "Why did Toyota ever use that as their catchphrase, as their logo? That would have been great. Toyota, it's good for jihad." Toyota Tundra is a great truck. Nice, big, beefy truck. Not too big, not too small. I always liked the Tacomas as a small truck. I thought they were great, but one of my buddies when I was living in Cali, he had one, and the turning radius was horrible on it. And he had the two-wheel drive version, and just like a really rough turning radius on it. Like he would often have to do like 3-point turns to turn around. For a small truck, that seemed pretty bad. He said if you had the 4-wheel drive version, it was even worse. Yeah, the old style ones are just kind of cool. It was just like a truck that just got squished down. You remember when Dodge released the first Dodge Ram with that modified front where the lights were a little bit lower than the hood, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's like the coolest looking truck. It's so tough looking." Yeah, Dodge used to be that was like that was like the 90s, I think. I remember everyone was like going crazy over that design. Could care less about trucks, right? I like the thing about here, like obviously Hilux, like I said, Hilux is like the big truck, and I think Isuzu makes a pickup truck, like a consumer pickup truck as well. You don't see Ford pickups here, even though they have the Ranger and stuff, but like you don't see those as frequently. But it's like the little like Chinese and Japanese trucks are the ones I think are so cool. They're like half the size of a Ranger, have little tiny like wheels that look like donuts, and they have the tuk-tuk pickup trucks even. That's the real cool stuff, in my opinion. Worst turning radius I ever experienced was my 1994 Chevy Silverado. It's a big one, the Silverado. I used to have a Ford Taurus that had no turning radius at all. Also in 1994. It was my first car, 1994 Ford Taurus. 0 turning radius. I went from that to like a 2000... whatever the first year for the Chevy Aveo was. I think it was 2005 or 2007. Turning radius on the Chevy Aveo was like... a Chevy Aveo was essentially a Kia. If you guys... not Kia, it was a Daewoo. It was a car made by Daewoo, which is a Korean company, for an American company. And you could basically just like spin around on it. Toyota Isuzu Hilux, largest selling truck on the planet by far, hard to kill.
Huh.
Yeah, there was I think it was an episode of Top Gear where they tried to kill an old Hilux, an old Toyota Hilux, and they dropped it off a building and it still started up. Like they drove it through water, everything. They ended up dropping it off a building, or they put it on the roof of a building that they blew up, I think is what it was, and then they were still able to start it. Mitsubishi, yeah, they have Mitsubishi trucks here. Yeah, those are pretty awesome. The 78 to 81 Ford Bronco, the prices went through the roof though. Big at auctions now. The Bronco is a cool vehicle, the Ford Bronco. Then OJ made them famous, right?
What is OJ?
OJ Simpson. Where he got chased by the police in a white Ford Bronco down the highway.
That's make it famous?
Made that truck famous.
Weird.
The Top Gear episode of they tried to kill the Hilux. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they put it on the roof of a building that got blown up. And even though it couldn't drive, it still started, if I remember right. It's been a while since I watched that. But yeah, I love the little pickup. Like what I love about here, like I'm in no hurry to drive again. Like if I need to go somewhere, like if we need to drive, we'll rent a car. Like there's no, that's the episode from John, I think. Is that the Top Gear? Yeah. Top Gear Hilux. So like, if I need to go somewhere, I'll rent a car. If we need a pickup truck, we'll rent a pickup truck. It's cheap. But like the people who are like, I have friends who are like in such a hurry to own cars here, that always blows my mind. Like if you don't need it for work and you live near the train, why do you want to own a car in a city with horrible traffic? If you want to go out of town, rent one. It costs nothing. It's like $20 a day to rent a vehicle at the most. That's with full insurance. So, it all depends on what you really want. But for me, the simplicity of living here is not having to drive. Like I have the scooter.
If you drive, then you have to find a parking spot when you go somewhere, which is like, even just go to shopping mall with my family, as my dad like to drive. So like, we have to spend like almost half an hour trying to find a place to park. Like, but if I call Grab and get all of us and like just drop it in front of the shopping mall, then we just like there 15 minutes from home, can eat right away. But with the car, so 15 minutes to drive and then 30 minutes try to find a parking spot. Yes, that's hard.
Yeah, and it's, again, you take the train to most malls. The malls you can take the train to. You walk off the train.
From my home, it's too far to walk.
Yeah, no, true. But like I'm saying, like in Bangkok, if you take the train to the mall, you literally walk off the train into the mall. But and
you don't have to pay for parking.
Yeah, and you don't spend 30 minutes looking for parking.
Yes, sometimes it's more.
And actually, I've been to malls, and you can see the sign saying "parking full."
Mm.
And that happens at Siam quite a bit. That
Yeah,
happens
of
at
course.
Terminal quite a bit.
Of course.
Yeah, and so it's just more convenient. Like, and I have friends who own cars just to own cars, not because they drive them everywhere, because they just like that car, like classic cars. Like my buddy Bruce owns some classic cars, and he's like he has another car, like a car he'll drive places.
The
like
blue one that he drive?
Yeah, he drove here. It's like a little, like a mini SUV station wagon looking thing. But like that's like if he has to go somewhere and it might rain because it's the rainy season.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he has his scooter. He's even said he'd rather drive the scooter, but he'd rather not be caught in the rain.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So it makes sense. But then he has like cars that he just he restored. I think it was a Mercedes. Whereas one of my buddies, Gareth, just told me he bought a new Beamer. And I was like, really? He's like, he's like, I still take the train though. But he just bought a brand new BMW. Oh yeah, they did. They blew it up and then they floated it out to sea for. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Maybe if you meet Garrett, ask him like you try to sit if you can get in that
He
car.
said I might be too big for his Beamer.
Yeah, like how can you like really like sit in the seat? Yeah, I would like to know.
John had a 79 Toyota pickup, put 44-inch tires on it, couldn't get it stuck, couldn't break it, then boom, the wife burned the clutch out and broke the tranny.
What's that?
The clutch, so it's a manual, the clutch is the third pedal, and the tranny is transmission.
So his wife cannot drive?
Apparently not that truck.
Okay.
Jib's never driven anything in her life. At one point, I bought her a scooter, like a step-through twist and go, to try to ride, and even that she was like afraid to drive it in the parking lot where we lived. But granted, the parking lot where we lived probably was less safe than the streets in Gulfview. But the Jib's never driven at all. She's like a Bangkokian through and through. She grew up taking the bus, you didn't grow up taking the train because that wasn't built until after you finished grad school. But because they finished the train in 1999.
It's like...
Oh, they opened the SkyTrain, the BTS in 1999.
I think it's like they opened when I was in like a bachelor, but the station is not past any like where I can go. Like,
Siam.
My university is there, and it's not past university. I have to walk to the station.
Your faculty was on the other.
Yeah, so like, why I have to take train? It's like no need, right?
So
and it's not
1999 would have been what, your first year at Chula?
Maybe.
They opened with 12 stations.
So I think when they just opened, my family and I took a trip, like from where they start to the end, and then take it back just to see it. Like, I went to Singapore before. It's like, okay, SkyTrain there, nice. And like when they open here, we try it once.
I would argue our train is nicer than Singapore's. So keep in mind, our train is over 20 years old in Bangkok, the SkyTrain.
Yeah.
No graffiti on this train. No mess. Perfectly clean. Mm-hmm. Right? It looks like it could be brand new. It's still incredibly modern.
Because they clean it well.
But I also, like, for the most part, Thai people respect the train. And, like, they're not trying to... It doesn't look like New York City or Boston where there's, like, graffiti on the windows, the seats are torn out.
No, we don't do that.
No, that's what I'm saying. It looks great. And actually, the new standing cars, so now they have... Since 2 years ago, they started adding half of a car will be standing only. And I think some cars are full standing, right?
Yeah.
Or that's the MRT.
BTS also.
BTS also? Usually it's like half on the BTS. But like the ones that you can stand only, you fit more people. But also it's like nice. Like if I'm leaving home and I've been sitting all day, it's really nice to get on the train and just be able to stand and lean against. They have this little bench for you to put your butt against next to the window. So that's really nice sometimes to not sit on the train, just be able to stand up and like, yes, fantastic. Feels great, relaxing. You're stretching. You're not like sitting down again, and it gives people who need to sit more seats available. But just love. I wish I still had the '82 Jeep CJ Scrambler. like that's the one thing. Like if I was gonna have a car, like it would be a Jeep. I love Jeeps.
Here?
No, not here, because you wouldn't be able to drive a topless Jeep here. It's like, you see my head. Oh, I finally got a sun hat that fits. Guys, check this out. Here's the back. So I have a hard time finding a hat that actually fits me because my head is huge. And so I ordered like 5 different hats, big brim hats like this from Lazada. And they're all cheap, like $3 each. And the first 2 that had sizing that says 63 centimeter heads came, and they don't even come close to fitting me. So Jib has one now, and Jam has one. But this one, which had no sizing information, it just looked big. So I was like, hey, I'll try it. This came in and it fits. Now, to highlight how big my head is, we went to when we were in Sai Luat the other day, and we were coming back. There was a motorcycle shop. They had a bunch of helmets in the window. This is a little big on you. So you can see the size difference in our heads here. But we were coming back from Sai Luat, and there was a motorcycle shop that had a bunch of helmets. And I want to get a new helmet because I don't have a full face helmet right now. I just have an open face, which I'd rather not wear an open face helmet. I'll put that over here. So I'd rather not wear an open face helmet, but it's the only thing I could find that fits at the moment. And because of like lack of imports right now, there's not a lot of large size inventory. And I also have a very different shaped head than most helmets in Thailand. So I need a half oval shape versus a full oval. Normally I wear an LS2 3XL modular. So we're at the shop the other day when we stopped in, and we're like, oh, I need like a very large helmet. And the guy's like, oh yeah, double X. I'm like, yeah, double X probably won't be big enough. And I try, they have one called MT that they said they import from Spain. I try that on. Doesn't even fit, like you can't even close the front on the modular. Then they have another one they tell me is the biggest helmet they sell, and no one should need one bigger than this. And it doesn't even fit like 75. I can't even pull it over my face. So the guy's like, no human should have a head this big, right? My head is like enormous by comparison. So I ordered one on Shop.I the other day. That's a pre-order, and I sent the guy a message and said like, hey, are you going to be able to get this? He's like, yeah, I can get it from HK. And so I ordered it from Shop.I because I messaged their shop on Facebook that carries LS2, and they said I could order the 3XL on Shop.I and they can ship direct to me and pay that way because they don't have any in stock. But they said they have them in Hong Kong and you can get it that way, ship it to me. And see what happens. See what happens. If not, one of my buddies back in the States said he would mule one back for me if I need to order one stateside. Cody says, debating on getting a motorcycle, but I'm about to move to BKK. So, like, what were you thinking? You thinking about getting a scooter, Cody, or were you going to get like a bigger bike?
Move to BKK.
What are you thinking about for a bike? What size, and what do you want it for?
Get Honda, see.
Not ready in there. Well, let's see what size he wants first. But like, does he want a big bike or does he want a scooter?
Don't drive big bike here.
You know, not in Bangkok.
Too hot.
But he might want it to drive out of the city.
Oh.
Yeah.
อะไรนะ super motard. What is that one?
Oh, no, that's the Ducati.
Ducati.
That's a crazy bike.
You can get a girl there if you ride it.
That's a crazy bike. Just to be clear, it's a crazy bike. The super motard. Way too much bike. Yeah, no, I agree. I like riding in the rain, but not like Bangkok rain's a different thing, John. Like you have to understand, like the intensity of the rain here is quite crazy.
Road will flood, and you won't see the missing part of the road, and you ride into it. That's the problem.
I just found this in Bangkok. That'll look. Let's see, cycle. T-Cycle 52. She has burned up the clutch and broke fixed gear in every manual truck I've had. Claims she can drive manual. Oh, that slick grill. I just hope it's still there when I get there. 96, hey Josh, what's up? 1996 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 416. What size do you have? I have a 63 centimeter head. So, well, I measure it at 63 circumference all the way around.
I think mine is
Norm
52.
McDonald, wow. Yeah, Norm McDonald's hilarious. Dakota asks, what do I do for underwear? like, I wear it. Actually, so I'm super thrifty, especially when it comes to clothing. I've had Jib gives me a hard time because I have underwear that's on the verge of disintegrating, and but I've had some of my underwear for like 15 years. But I wear boxer briefs and just cotton, obviously cotton lycra mix. But like I prefer to get like cotton with 2% lycra, so it's like stretchy enough to fit. But it can be hard to find ones that fit me because of my shape and size. I prefer a longer on the thigh, higher waist underwear. Muji's a good place for me to shop at, and what's the other one?
Uniqlo.
Uniqlo, yeah. Uniqlo has good sport underwear. But yeah, I get all my socks from Muji. I love the Muji ankle socks. Fantastic fit. Nice cotton, soft, fits well, not too tight, and they have my foot size, which is important. So if I have a size 48 foot European, so size 13 American. Most Thai socks are not made for my feet, so the fact that Muji sells socks that fit my feet is important.
They sell like they have the length on the label, so you can see. Normally, like in Thailand, we would say it's free size, which is if you have
which means Thai size
extra size, it won't fit you.
So before this, the only other place I could get underwear and socks at was Tokyo, and they've gone out of business. So Tokyo carried a wide variety of sizes for Westerners, and Tokyo in MBK. They've gone out of business though, so I don't even know what's going to fill that space. There were like 6
Donkey.
stories. Oh, it's going to be Donkey?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Lots of food then. But yeah, Tokyo was a good place for bigger foreigners to shop for undergarments, socks, things like that. But yeah, now I do Muji and Uniqlo. Uniqlo, for some reason, nothing else there is my size, but they have underwear that fits me. So, good. But yeah, the not the greatest of quality in my opinion. I don't normally like to shop fast fashion type of stuff. Yeah, well for t-shirt.
Uniqlo.
Yeah, but like
Uniqlo.
I don't disagree. Like for you, but for me, and like
Because they sell Asian size.
yeah, Asian sizes. But also like I'm not a fan of fast fashion type of stuff.
This is not fast fashion.
No, but you know what I mean. Like how they sell like 4 seasons of stuff every month. Like
I'm waiting for discount.
Jib buys. Jib actually. Who told you about the?
What?
Who told you about the pattern for selling the discount? Like
My friend who
yeah.
she likes like this type of t-shirt also. I think we like same character, either Gudetama or Lilakuma.
But she told you like when it's on like certain racks, it will go to a certain price, right?
Yeah, so it's like they will, if it's new, no discount for sure. Then you wait like maybe a month, they start to like discount 100 baht for this collection, and they will launch new collection.
And it'll go all the way down to 50%, right?
No, it can be like the cheapest that I got is like 190.
Oh, okay.
But like
190 is almost 50% because it's 300 baht normally.
yes, maybe. So like, well, but for me, as I wear S, sometimes it's like sold out before it's discount. So that's like risk.
Yeah. Usually, there's another shop in I've seen it in Patung Tiny. I think it's called XLT.
What's that?
It's a menswear shop, but it's crazy expensive. but they do carry like large foreigner sizes. Everything's like import Van Heusen, like brands like you would see in an outlet mall in America. And there's one in Future Park, and they sell polo shirts and pants, stuff like that. But everything's a bigger size. But it's crazy expensive, like $50 for a polo shirt, you know, like $80 for pants. So like, not someplace I would ever shop. And I also I hate polo shirts for the most part. Like polo shirts that people expect you to like.
You just like your...
It's like business casual, which is like the worst of both business and casual.
You like the Rotten Pac-Man shirt.
I love that Pac-Man shirt. I've had that shirt for 20 years. Jim hates this shirt. Is so beat that like if it's sunny out, you can see it's blue and you can still see all my tattoos underneath it. And but I mean, it's so comfortable. It's like 20 years old. It's stretched to. It's got to be like it's stretched out like 4 times its normal size. And I only wear it in the house now. I can't wear it out because it would like just tear if I caught it on something. But it's so comfy. And
I'm afraid to put it in washing machine.
The ribbing on the neck completely gone, like the sleeves like falling off. But just it's one of those things that like I still have it, like one of those favorite shirts. And all you guys have a shirt like that. Like it's just like you're not getting rid of it no matter what. You know, it's fantastic. But yeah, it's hard for me. That's a great photo. That might be my new profile picture. Who sent you that? I'm gonna make that.
John.
I'm gonna make that the cover photo on my Facebook. This is gonna be the new cover photo. I might even make that the cover photo on my LinkedIn. Now, yeah, actually, you might even, Dakota, like if you can get to like I think it's called XLT. If you can find one of those shops, like they usually have underwear as well, American size underwear. The only one I think there used to be one at MBK. I don't know what's at MBK now. A lot of stuff closed at MBK because they were doing renovations as well. Things moved.
So maybe if you plan to live here for a while, pack new socks and new underwear.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have have some of the Hanes that I used to wear back in the States. So, like 20 years ago, like and Jib's like there's holes in your underwear. I'm like, it's okay. They still work. It doesn't bother me. I mean, they still function. Like, why not wear them? I'm married, right? Like, you want me... If I start wearing fancy underwear out, you need to worry.
It's okay.
But I think the real thing, like the XLT shop is just expensive. Like, that's my biggest gripe with it.
You have to think about demand and supply.
Yeah, it's also imported stuff, right?
They can't sell for Thai. Like, not many Thais will need that clothes.
I know 2 Thais as big as me. And out of like...
2 from our what? How many?
Thousands.
Right?
Right, that I know. And I think that, it's just the cost of importing. It's probably a very fair price. It's just expensive for the market. Like, where you could buy like a custom-made shirt for half the price you could buy one of these polos for. And like I said, for me, business casual is like the worst of both business and casual. So like I try to avoid that at all costs. When I was an engineer, I remember my supervisor always used to be like, I would wear like a t-shirt and a hoodie a lot. He's like, hey, you can't just be wearing hoodies and t-shirts, man. It's not professional. Like I literally sit in a cubicle all day and work on routes. And like routers and configuring stuff and fixing issues. He's like, you got to at least business casual. Buy a sport coat, man. Come on. Good times. Yeah, basketball head. Yeah, hats, dude. Like I had to learn to custom make baseball caps just because I needed ones that fit. I'm actually thinking I'll make a better... I want to make a hat like this. I've made these before. Like, I made Jib one like this. But the problem is they're incredibly difficult to get the brim to you've only got one shot to line the perfect brim up with the rest of the hat. I've attempted to make like maybe 10 of these, and I've succeeded twice. Okay, here's one of this is a hat I custom made. This is a denim hat made from like really heavy Thai denim. And this is a fitted one that I made for myself. And this is a sun hat I made for Jib. And I'm going to take this real quick, man. This is like the first one I ever made. This is made from linen. And like you have to line this up like perfectly with the rest of the hat to be able to stitch it on. Which is like, if you're off by like a millimeter, you end up with like a wavy kind of structure with this. So it's like lining it up perfect. I think this one took like 2 or 3 tries to get it like the pattern just right. Go Commander. So here
I like.
So yeah, there's like big heads are an issue. Hey Dan, what's up, brother? How's things in Connecticut? Yeah, definitely hard to find American size underwear, especially if you want something with like a slightly higher waist. I think like most Thai sizing for underwear, most Thai patterns for underwear tend to have it really low rise, which is unusual for an American fitting. I think a 300 just as a step up from the ability to take weekend trips out. I'm renting a 150 and I need more power and riding on the highways. I'm thinking not a scooter. I take my 125 out on the highway. I mean, like not the highway, but on the big interprovincial roads. You can't ride, illegal to ride bikes on the elevated expressway in Bangkok if you don't know. 300 is not a bad bike. I had a 300.
What the size of you?
Mine's a 125.
That's enough.
Yeah, for in Bangkok, like a 300 is going to be cumbersome. But I would definitely recommend like at that size, like the Hondas, like the CB300F, probably a great bike. If you want more of a sports bike, the 300, the CBR.
Vespa.
300. What's that?
Get Vespa.
Vespa.
And you will look hipster.
But
you
then,
get Vespa and you have Leica camera. You go any cafe, you get a girl.
That's probably true. Yeah, but a Leica camera, Vespa's expensive too. But yeah. And then a Leica camera.
So you ride Vespa, the new one, and you bring Leica out of your bag, sit in a cafe, start to take photo. Yes.
So they.
And don't forget that you have to have at least like a iPhone or iPad.
Well, iPad Mini, the new one.
Something.
They announced last night.
It's like.
But yeah, so to go out, like a 300's okay. I mean, the problem with the 300 is it's very much. To me, the issue with the 300 is it's more size and not a whole lot more power than a 150, really, even though it's twice the displacement. Like, you're not. My experience with the 300 is you're not really getting a huge jump in performance. You're not getting a huge jump in performance with the size or the cost. But the CB300F is a great bike, very comfortable to ride. They also have the Rebel 300, another great bike, but very bulky. Like in the city, you'll be stuck in traffic with something like that. And then they have, I think it's called the ATV. I think it's a 300cc, or there's a step-through scooter. Or a step-over scooter that's a 300cc as well they sell here, which is fully automatic. So it depends on what you want, Cody, as far as size-wise. But I think for me, like the 300 is not enough if you're going to go up in size from a 150 or a 125, because it's not going to give you the power boost you want. Like you really have to get to like 400, 500cc, 650. To start to see enough more power with it. One thing to think about. So, again, in 300 you get the bulk of a bigger bike, but not the performance. Whereas a smaller bike with a 150 or a 125 is fine in my opinion. Like I ride a 125 all the time, out of the city, no issues for me. So if you want to go bigger, I'll go a little bit bigger. Like think about like a 400 or a 500. I think Yamaha has a 400cc bike, and I think Honda. I know Honda has a 500cc. So something to think about. Like if you really want to take longer road trips on a bigger bike, I would go a little bit over 300 for sure. Hey, no problem, Dakota. Yeah, definitely tough shopping for those things here. Joe, my favorite color, purple. Hands down, purple. The color of the Hulk's pants and Thanos' skin, purple. See, John knows. He's got T-shirts over 20 years old. Look, those are cherished items, man. The Jim's always threatening to throw away my Pac-Man shirt.
Condition.
So I remember.
Vintage is okay, but it's in good condition, not like rip-off.
So when I was an engineer, there was this guy who was the head of the business sales department, and he was he would always like talk. He would tell people that he was the best dressed guy in the in the company. No one thought that, but he would tell people that. And he would always buy in his suits like these pre-made suits at Joseph Banks, which is like a suit supply type of place. And I remember I saw him out one day with his family at this thing called the Taste of Lakewood, which was like a Lakewood's a town outside Cleveland, and it's like a local restaurants all set up booths type of thing. And I was rocking like jean shorts and my Pac-Man T-shirt. This summertime event, and I see this guy. He's wearing like pleated, cuffed business slacks with a polo, and he's got his kids dressed the same way. And he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't wear shorts, Dana. That's not appropriate." Like this is the weekend, we're out having a good time, And I remember he complained to my supervisor, who was his friend. He's like, "I see Dana out at these public events. He's wearing a freaking Pac-Man T-shirt and shorts." I'm like, well, yeah, because I want to. So go fuck yourself. You want to wear like grandpa pants and polo shirts. Feel free. Don't try to force that shit on me. But he was. You run into those types of people in the business world, unfortunately, who think like you need to dress a certain way. Gotta wear a polo.
Because you're not Mark Zuckerberg.
I do okay. Go Commando.
Yeah, the polarized.
Send me that. What pic does Joe want you to send? Yeah, Joe, I saw Osito posted something. Norm Macdonald. I haven't checked the news today, so I basically wake up, make coffee, and do the live stream. Hey, Dan, have a good night, brother. Hipster is the polar opposite of me. I loathe Apple too much anyway. Can't wait for my Sony Xperia 1 III to get there. I'm an Apple guy through and through. I'm definitely I flirt with the hipster genre in my lifestyle way too much. Drive a scooter, have my little round glasses. Definitely flirting with that. But I'm not a Vespa guy. They're too expensive, and when they break here, it takes a long time to get them worked on, Cody. So, definitely would not be buying a Vespa. I'm a Honda guy. For me, practicality, Honda. You can get a Honda worked on at pretty much any shop. I mean, not like 1,000cc Honda, but most Hondas you can pull into any local Samchai, and he'll wrench on your bike for you, and they'll have the parts. And it'll be cheap. Frank said, order that big-ass helmet with a handle on it. I'll try to carry it as a carry-on. Hey, you know what? They come in a bag, like a little drawstring bag, so you could wear it like a backpack. But, yeah, the Honda, like I said, for me, the Honda is you can get it worked on pretty much anywhere. Pull into any local shop. And that's probably true with up to a 500cc or 650cc. They'll be able to get those parts and work on it anywhere. Suzuki, I've had bad experiences having Suzuki serviced here. I had a Suzuki, and I had a 150cc Suzuki that was absolutely ridiculous as far as bikes go. We had that bike when we first met. It was a Suzuki 150, is Suzuki Raider 150, and it's a 150cc engine that just is way too powerful and geared way too fast for the bike that it is. And you get it going, it could go like 160 kilometers an hour, and the thing would shake like crazy, get the speed shakes. But in the frame always felt like it was about to rip apart. But a 150cc bike with a 6-speed transmission, it was a bit overkill. Yeah, and that was actually more powerful than my 300cc bike. Faster, more powerful, quicker off the line. The issue with my size when I'm riding on the road from Hoi Hin to Cha'am, I don't have acceleration when passing. I have to try to tuck my body to pass. Oh. Well, then you probably shouldn't be passing. It depends. Like when you're on like the long stretches of road, I don't think the 300 is going to give you more acceleration at speed. It's going to give you more top speed though, but you're not going to accelerate any quicker to that top speed, in my experience. With a 300 versus like obviously a 650, you'll have torque through almost the entire range of your bike. That's the bike one. So yeah, you'll be able to just kind of throttle. If you had like a 650 or a 500, you'd be able to go. But like a 300, I don't think you're going to get the torque for acceleration at higher speeds. You're just going to get a slightly faster bike, not even that much faster. And the weight difference between a 150 and a 300 is going to really diminish those performance results anyway, Cody. I would just drive differently. Don't overtake its speed on a 150. Just understand, put yourself in a different, safer position as opposed to trying to overtake with a less powerful bike. But yeah, I don't think a 300 is going to fix that issue as far as being able to pass. You need to be slightly bigger, like a 500 or a 400, where you start to get torque for acceleration at the higher speeds. Like I said, in my experience, at least with a Honda, you don't get that much of a difference in performance from a 150 to a 300. Yeah, no Apple. That's fighting words for Dana. Yeah, like I said, I'm Apple all day. I've got iPad Pro over here. I've got my MacBook. I've got my Mac Mini. Jib's got her MacBook. Jam has an iPad and a MacBook or a Mac Air. I mean, we're all Mac'd out, super Mac'd. All of us have iPhones, Apple Watch. But I mean, here's the thing: when you're on the ecosystem, like for work, right? Because like Chris works on his Apple all day. Jib does. I do. Being able to work between your devices and be able to like share with your collaborators easily is key. And so I remember Jib was a PC person completely before we dated, and then when Jib finally decided to,
because software that we use here is like.
Yeah, no, and for her old job,
PC.
The software that she needed as a nutritionist when she was a researcher wasn't available for Mac. And when she went to work as an international affairs officer at the university, it really didn't matter. They had no software, so it didn't matter what
they
you did.
They don't even have antivirus. PC.
Their IT guy, the fact he wouldn't put antivirus on my computer. Like, oh no, it makes it too slow, and no one sends virus anyway. Like, what are you talking about? Like, do you hear yourself? Like, he thought Jib had a laptop and she plugged an extra monitor into it. And he's like, oh, why bother with the extra monitor? You can't use it. And she's like, what do you mean you can't use it? He's like, oh, it doesn't work. And she's like, you see it working. He's like, yeah, but you can't do anything on that monitor.
It's just like a show screen, the type. It's like, no.
And she's like, he's like, so would you move your player over? Your music player?
Just other window.
YouTube video. And he's like, oh, but you can't type there. You can just move it there, right? She's like, no, look, change video. He's like, Oh my God. And this guy ran IT for the whole faculty. It was scary. But yeah, they wouldn't put antivirus on stuff, and they wondered why like everything always crashed. But so it didn't matter what software you had there. But Jib, when I finally convinced Jib to quit that job because of how horrible it was, and we got her a Mac so that she could run her business on it. And I think you won't even go back now. It's like
No.
you're once you're in that ecosystem and you understand how easy it makes your workflow. I mean, again, like for what we do, and not for everyone, but for what we do. Like if she was still a researcher, it would make no sense for her to be on a Mac because it would make her work less effective.
And like for like, let's say presentation, they were like on PC that the setup at the event. If you save from Mac, it won't match to the PC,
Yeah.
and all presentation fucked up.
Yeah.
It's happened before. Like we saw like the doctor present. It's like what happened? It's like just move. It's like because doctor they use Mac, like,
Yeah.
no problem. They afford it, but like for us, it's a PC.
Yeah, I mean, and look, PCs are cheap. I mean, you can buy Lenovo here for nothing. I remember when Mike got
cheap.
his new computer was like $700. It was a monster. But again, it's what you do with it. And for me, what I do in the software we use, PC is just not an option. For specifically for the software, like Chris said, it makes you money. If it's your tool for work and it makes you money, then it makes sense. If it's not, then use what you like or use what works for you. But yeah, like Jim said, if she was still doing nutrition research, the Mac would be a hindrance big time, just because of software compatibility
Yeah.
with everything they use. And I always thought it was funny that at the university, at the faculty that we both worked at, they could like if I had to plug in, they couldn't figure out like how to make my Mac work, or like they would always complain like, oh, it looks different because it's Mac file. Like, deal with it. You're the IT guy, not me. A new Africa. Oh man, the Africa Twin is dope. Bit high seated for me. Did they change the licensing for bikes over 250cc or something like that? Yes, but I don't think it's active yet. Jib would know.
I don't know.
You want?
I have to look
Yeah, they made.
if you want more details.
There's a
about
new
it.
testing class for your license. So if you want a bigger bike, I don't know if it's 250 or higher.
Maybe higher. It's
Wait.
like big bike, real big bike.
But yeah, what they want is they don't want you to be able to take your test on a 100cc Scoopy I, fully auto, and then go out and buy like a 1000cc sport bike.
Yeah, so like we have problem with like the rider who's like, don't know how to ride the big bike, the real big bike, and
Yeah.
don't know like which was a safe distance to brake or something like that, because we have like a accident, like a little accident for the rider who don't know about their own bike, like
Yeah.
the size and like the speed, like
Yeah.
so that's why they need more tests or
Yeah.
to check that you can ride it for sure.
And like you can learn like
And some of them
It-
are
yeah.
young,
yeah.
like parents bought as they want.
This is the thing. Like if you're committed to like riding a bike and like learning and getting better, and you want to move your way up sizes and understand how it handles, like you could do that on your own for sure. Like you start with like a 150cc and then you're like, oh, I'm going to buy a 300 just to get used to the weight. Then I'm going to get a 5 and a 650, or and make those progressions. And then you want a leader bike or a Hayabusa or something. That's cool, but don't be the guy who shows up to take his test on a Scoopy I 100cc, fully auto, zips around, and then goes and buys a Hayabusa and lays it out the first day you get it. You don't want to be that dude. Or the 1100cc Honda Rebel. That's a beautiful bike. I can't imagine riding it. It must be insane. But I saw one the other day, and like if it wasn't for the fact that you probably can't drive that in the city because you just sit there like overheating. But beautiful bikes. But yeah, I think the license change was good. But I think if you had a license, you're covered. Greg, I think is what I read. I don't have a 100% answer. I'll need to get back to you on it. And it might not even be in effect yet. But I think it's a good thing. Like, I've got the MSX, which has a clutch and a 4-speed transmission. Most bikes don't. Like, the most popular bike in Thailand is the Honda Wave. And that has a 4-speed auto shift, a centrifugal clutch. So you don't even need to clutch it to shift. You just have to understand like how to rev it, and then you can shift. And that's what most people drive. And that bike is unkillable. That's like the old Hilux of scooters. Like you can't kill the Honda Wave. Like, you see them from like 30 years ago, no problem. Half the motorcycle wins have like a 50-year-old Honda Wave or something. It's basically a cheaper version of the Super Cub. Same engine, same transmission, slightly different frame, and plastic body panels as opposed to metal. Cody, I 100% agree, man. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And I would never be like, it's better. It's not. It's better for me. It doesn't make it better for everyone, right? I love it. It works great for me. And that might not be the case for you or for anyone else. And that's awesome, right? We should have those options in technology, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you should be able to be like, hey, this is better for me. I would hate if Apple was the only thing available. It would suck by default because it's the only choice, and it would have to try to serve everyone. And that would suck. So super glad that it's not for you and that there are things that are. And that's awesome.
That's fine.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love the iPhone, but I don't by any means think the iPhone's the best phone.
It just work well with the system we have now.
Yeah, it works well with the system we have. Samsung's always had better cameras. Huawei has insane cameras on their phones. Don't get me wrong. Like, there are phones with better specs out there for sure. Sony has some good phones right now. Samsung, Huawei, but they don't work well with the things I need. You know, I used to have a smartwatch called a Sunto. Beautiful watch. Way better than my Apple Watch. Better looking. I think the Apple Watch is ugly. I wear it because it works seamlessly with Apple Health and notifications. But the Sunto, by all means, a better looking watch, a better functioning watch, way more functionality. Works horribly with the Apple phone, with the iPhone. Just the data doesn't sync. You have to have all these third-party apps to make it work. Yeah, it's actually the Sunto watch is more than I need for the workouts I do. It's made for endurance athletes because it does all types of readings, and it's for people who run marathons.
No, we don't do.
Yeah, it's not for me. My workouts are very average, right? Rudimentary.
What workout?
My workouts.
What is that?
Lift a little bit of weight, ride the bike, go for a walk. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Nothing crazy. I do like the Knucklehead. What's the Knucklehead? It's a bike? I love my Harleys, but getting prepped for the scooters for when I get over there. Dude, I tell you, scooter life, man, it is so fun. I have friends who have Harleys, and they've ridden my MSX, and they love it. They say it's so fun. It's funny because, if in America, right, because of our highway system and everything, you do need a 650, right, to safely ride on the highway. Also because of the way people treat bikes in America. In Thailand, because there are more bikes than cars, drivers are much more aware of their role on the road, and a small bike is very safe here, even to take on longer trips. You see Patty, who, I love Patty, I love his videos. Anyone who's watched one of Patty's videos probably knows he's not a very good motorcyclist, right? He's not a very good operator of his vehicle. He's average, right? But he's not, he doesn't practice a ton of, I would bet, if we got Patty in a parking lot and wanted him to counter steer or to run a course, he wouldn't be able to. And that's fine. He doesn't need to. But he rides a scooter perfectly for Thailand. He understands the road, he understands the safety, and he knows enough to get by safely. And I think his bike is 100cc or 110. I don't even think it's 125. And he's out there. It's almost 30 years old. It runs great, and he's out there taking this crazy adventure on it. And it's safe for him because he understands the roads in Thailand. Whereas you couldn't do that same trip in the U.S. solo and be safe, because people would be blowing by you at 100 miles an hour and running you off the road. Where in Thailand, they respect the space for the scooter on the road, and that's just a thing. It's how it is.
But we like to drive against traffic.
Yeah, so people do drive
So Patty
crazy here.
know that, right?
But Patty, like I said, Patty understands the road here.
Understand the road and have to understand.
He
people
understands the
also.
behavior of people on the road. He's been driving for a long
Okay.
time here, right? But like I said, like I would argue Patty is not a super technical driver in the sense, like I said, if you put him in a parking lot, he's not going to go out there and like run a course of cones and like make crazy U-turns and stuff like that. But you know, someone who could do that from the U.S., you put them on his scooter on the road in Thailand, they're not going to be able to do the trip he's doing, right? It's the experience that he has that puts him in that position. Yeah, if you're 100% in it, absolutely, Cody. How'd that guy get his job? Yeah, dude, he's talking about tone. Dude, I have no idea. No idea. Like that, the worst IT guy ever.
That's it. I think his name is Git.
Oh, Kit, yeah. Oh no, I'm thinking of someone else. Yeah, Kit. He also looked like a bit of a troll, and he spoke a little bit of English, so occasionally we would have interactions. And I remember one day we're in the elevator. It was me, him, and who was the other guy? The really cool guy.
Myung.
Young, yeah. It was me, him, and Young in the elevator, and some girls who worked on a different floor. There was like a lab in the.
Yeah.
So some girls got on, attractive, like younger Thai girls that worked at the faculty, and they got off. And I remember the kid Kit looks at me. He's like, "Oh, yeah, she's hot. I would date her." And I'm looking at Kit. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think you're the one making that choice, dude. Like, I don't think she would date you. I mean." He was like, no. He was like, the guy in Thailand, the guy chooses. I'm like, sometimes no. It was just, he was like way out of touch with reality. Video workflow, media composer equals Mac. Yeah. Final Cut Pro too, man. Final Cut Pro all the way. Mac only software. You can't even use that on a PC, and with the M1 chip. Jib knows how often I talk about, I love my M1. It makes such a difference. It's crazy. That change in architecture is game changing. That will be a historic moment for, in my opinion, that will be a historic moment for computing, the M1 architecture, because it has completely changed the workflow on Macs.
I just know the button, turn on and shut down. That's it.
Well, yeah, but for the nerds of us here, babe, we can talk about the M1. Nice. I'm looking forward to that. Don't forget to check out John's t-shirt video. If you guys didn't see the tribute he made for Jib's granny.
Oh, that one's so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much, John. Appreciate it very much. It was beautiful, beautiful video. I use DaVinci Resolve in game. A lot of people like DaVinci Resolve. Yeah. It's
What's that?
free editing software.
Oh.
Video editing software.
Okay.
A lot of people love it. A lot of people really like it. And if you guys know Chris, retired working from you, he worked in Hollywood, and he said DaVinci actually was like used to be like a $10,000 license to be able to use DaVinci.
$10,000.
Yeah, and so then Blackmagic bought them, and what Blackmagic wants to do is sell the hardware.
Okay.
So they gave away almost the entire version of DaVinci for free. And then you can buy a license if you want like a few additional pieces of functionality. And then there's like a pro level license, but what they really want to do is sell the hardware.
Okay.
So the hardware is like thousands of dollars, right? If you want the color grading hardware or the editing hardware with like special tools on it, then you pay for that. But the software is free. And it's what a lot of people use for color grading as well. So pro level software for sure, at the right price. And if you want to buy the hardware, cough up some cash. Yeah, a lot of people, man, like I said, John, a lot of people love that Resolve. Moving up progressively, yeah. The test is on. How can the practical test be online? I converted my license, my U.S. license, to a Thai license, so I didn't have to take the test. But I know there's a written test. I just did a renewal, and I had to go and sit in a room and watch a video, and then they gave me my renewed license. That was 3 months expired because they couldn't take me earlier because of COVID.
So they extend. Actually, they say like, oh, if you have a expired license, you can use until the end of this year.
Yeah. But yeah, because like I had to set up an appointment, and there's only certain appointments for foreigners. So it was like, but literally, I just watched a video.
Because you already have the license.
Yeah.
Just have to renew.
Yeah.
But if you need a new one, like you never have it here, it has to be like more difficult, and they need like a time or something. Like,
Actually,
and you have to have have a writing test. So with that, like I'm not sure if they open now for that part, but it's like before this, it's like they're not open to take like lots of people to walk in and test.
We just had my bike re-registered. I had to go for an engine check, and they basically looked at it and like, okay, good, not too old. Yeah, so if you're talking about like slowly moving up, man, then 300 M1 chip. The 300 is good from the perspective of you'll get the experience of handling the weight of a bigger bike, but if you want it, like if you want something to move you quicker on the highways, Cody, 300 is not the bike. Like you'll get a little bit more top end, but you're not going to get, like I said, that acceleration at that end of the speed spectrum. So like a 400 might be a better bet, just a little bit more weight, but a little bit more acceleration up there. Again, the thing with the 300 or like a 250 is learning about like a heavier bike, like how that handles, how you hold it, and like how you manage it when you ride. And then as you get a bigger bike too, counter steering, your ability to understand counter steering and weight. Counter steering is when you push the bike handlebars in the direction you want to turn. Yeah. So it's like you don't turn the handlebars, you actually put pressure on it, and the bike adjusts itself and turns. So it's counterintuitive to what you would think, but it's actually, once you learn it, it's very natural.
That's why I don't ride or drive.
Yeah, Chris says Da Vinci's cool. Unfortunately, can't use for his work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Took my road test on a Rebel 250, then went home and got on the Roadster 60.
What? Is it engine size?
Yeah. How long have you been riding for before you took your test, though, John? I had a friend. He had been riding a motorcycle exclusively for 10 years before he ever took a license test.
What? And how can he ride without license?
Just never got caught.
Here?
No, in America.
I thought like there, police more serious about license.
Yeah, if you get caught. If you don't get caught, no one knows.
Huh.
Chris says, I'm loving Resolve, but I'm just novice and I don't use many of the features. I've only done a little bit in Fusion and Fairlight. Yeah, like I think Resolve's got a ton of features, and a lot of people compare it to Adobe Premiere, which from a feature perspective, but is easier to use. I personally hate Premiere. I think it's the worst editing software. I don't find it to be easy. I find the workflow clunky, and it doesn't run great on the M1. It runs better than it did on the old Mac, but it doesn't run great compared to Final Cut, which is like super smooth. A lot of people call Final Cut like simple or simplistic, and I think there's a lot of stigma for Final Cut. They made some changes a few years, like 10 years ago, that really crippled it, and a lot of people got away from it, and now a lot of that functionality has been brought back. So I think there's still a lot of holdover from that, but as far as I'm concerned, man, Final Cut's fantastic, and I know there are even like movies that have been edited in Final Cut. So for me, Premiere is a loser, and it's a subscription, monthly subscription, that I don't find to be really worth it at this point. We use Photoshop and stuff still, and so we have Premiere as part of the subscription service, but I much rather use Final Cut all day than Premiere. Just it's clunky and not fantastic. Yeah, you're tied into the Avid, media composer. Yeah, I remember you telling me like how smooth that collaborative environment was, Chris. Just I wouldn't do that trip on a scooter. Yeah, you know what, man? I mean, in Thailand, I also find scooters my scooter more comfortable than any big bike I've had, because of how like upright and kind of proper your posture is on my MSX. I used Adobe Premiere in high school and liked it then, but I despise any sort of monthly payment, so Resolve is nice because it's free, or $300 for Pro, yeah. Now, yeah, I mean, again, the subscription service, I will say that Adobe delivers on updates for the amount you pay for subscription. You do get like sometimes 2 updates a month on certain software packages with Adobe. So they're constantly improving and fixing stuff. However, though, I mean, I would like to get away from Adobe altogether, and I've purchased Infinity Draw and the Infinity Suite, which was like $17 for each piece of software. And it's made to work on the M1. I'm not at the comfort level where I can completely convert yet, but when I'm there, Adobe is gone for me completely. Jib still likes it though. You should try the Affinity software. It's nice. Oh, but for some of you have the patterns you do on Adobe. Yeah. But the Affinity Illustrate and Affinity Draw are great, or Affinity Photo, all really good software. If you have a Mac. Yo, Sam, what's up, man? How's Pachani wet? Holding it down over there?
Is it flat?
Yeah, has it flooded since the rainy season? I know they used to flood right in front of Bon Marché at that dip in the road. Get like a half a meter there.
No, not that bad. Just like you cannot see the footpath.
No, the road would flood over the foot because it dips down. It would build up when the drain gets blocked. That would happen. Oh, because COVID, the Ministry of Transport. So mine is open, but yeah, like I didn't see anyone doing the road test. We just went to the main Ministry of Transportation in Chatuchat, and they were wide open. I mean, people sitting outside. They had like a queuing system that worked really well, actually. But
it's quick.
Yeah, you have to go from tent to tent to tent, and they just handle everything outdoors. And then the engine check was literally just checking the VIN. Like, I think because the bike's new enough, they didn't need to run it.
It's not like it's gonna fall apart. So they just check if it's like the engine is the same on the book. That's all. And it's just 10 baht for checking. If you go to like private checking, it might be 200 or more.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe next year go back there. 10 baht.
10 baht, yeah.
For like 200, that someone tell you like,
told me 200 to check it. Yeah, no, I'll just go inside. And literally, like, we're there. Jib was there a little bit longer than me, but a couple hours. Maybe not even 2 hours. DaVinci, PC DaVinci, Mac Premiere. I would use Mac Final Cut over Premiere any day.
What did I use before?
You use iMovie.
Oh.
Yeah, and iMovie's great too. If you have a Mac, iMovie's free.
It's easy enough for me to understand.
Yeah, if you're just using basic editing, iMovie's fantastic. Fantastic. But if you want to step it up from there, Final Cut Pro is a pro. I think Final Cut Pro is better than Premiere, and especially if you have a Mac. And the feature set is fantastic. Johnny, I've been on bikes since I was big. Yeah, see, so it's when you say you went home and got on your 1600. I mean, it's not like that was your first bike. Like I said, you've been riding forever, man. I know. And you were riding dirt bikes too, probably. Oh yeah, started riding dirt bikes at 7, which is a whole that you learn a lot on dirt bikes. Oh, Joe uses DaVinci too. Yeah, Adobe, I mean, again, like as far as updates, like they update the software a ton, so you are paying for that. But you know, like what I don't like is just like the level that they're charging for it, I think is insane. But if you use everything they offer, I mean, you do get value back. Oh, Sam, you use Infinity? You like it? He says it's great, so I'm assuming yes. But what makes that your choice? Yeah, Adobe updates do break things at times. Like I've gotten updates and then files don't work anymore, and until they push a patch, that sucks. Frankly, I'm a Mac guy and I use Final Cut, but if I'm hired to work on a project and need to work collaboratively, I use what they use. Same with cameras. Yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, yeah, if you're getting paid, then yeah, use what they're paying you to use. Don't be an asshole. Right? I know you said that's why you got the 1DX too, right? It was simply to match the guy who hires you, because he was shooting on a 1DX.
What is that?
It's a big DSLR, like Pro. I think it was the first DSLR that Canon made that shot 4K 60. But it's like
That sounds expensive.
Yeah, no, it's not cheap. You think Frank has cheap cameras?
No.
But yeah, it's well, actually the C60 probably does everything other than the photo stuff that the 1DX does. iMovie rocks for quick knockout. Yeah, iMovie, like for a free editing software. For free editing software, it's fantastic.
It's easy enough that I can use.
Super easy to use. Like I said, once you get Final Cut set up the way you want it, world's better than anything else, in my opinion. Adobe's for suckers. All right, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up. We're pushing a couple hours here, so let's wrap it and get back to work for the day, guys. Thank you.
Say?
Oh, did he say? Frank's here. Oh yeah, you didn't want to try matching things in post. It's all about the post production work. Yeah, true. Also, I think the 1DX. It was the 1DX Mark II was the first DSLR to shoot C-Log. Oh, hey, Dave, you just stopped in. We're just finishing up. Thanks for coming by, though, man. Appreciate it. But, yeah, I think we're going to wrap things up, guys. So thank you again for joining us today. We appreciate it. Be sure to check out the trailer that drops tomorrow. Let me know what you think. Something completely different, and it will lead into the series for the Bts series. So thank you again. Until next time, keep taking action. Make your ideas reality.